Thank you for watching the presentation, ENECHANGE FY22 second quarter. I'm the Yohei Kiguchi, the CEO and founder of the company. Our first slide will start with our stock price trends. We announced stock price has fallen significantly. However, we saw some bounce back after June-July time. Although still like half of the final fundraising round, but we see good trends as of today. We think there might be two reasons for this share price rebound. The first is our EV charging progress has been widely recognized by the investors. We announced to invest into the EV charging in December last year. Then we start publishing our progress around May, June time. So I believe we and the investor start building a confidence in our EV charging business. Second, energy market has very tight in Japan. Energy demand and supply has been very tight in Japan. So therefore, government and media has been talking about the importance of the demand side management. Our data business is actually the leading company providing a demand response service in Japan, which start attracting more attention from investors and energy companies. EV charging progress and demand response services, we believe they are the two major drivers for share price recovery and our business growth. The key message of this presentation is we are heading into a tunnel, but exit is in sight. We are expecting a very tough time later this year due to the significant sales fall in the platform business. Investors might be surprised to see our strong first half year result. However, we are expecting the tough time will come. On the other hand, our EV charging business has been going well so far, and EV sales in Japan itself is hitting record high every time, and EV penetration is unstoppable in Japan. Therefore, we're going to carry on investing into the EV chargings, and we also see the sales from the EV charging business will be a significant growth driver next year. So the word I want to say is we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, driven by the EV chargings. This slide is the executive summary of this quarter. Please have a look whenever you have. Our first chapter is we talk about who we are, the company highlights. If you might have already watched my presentation, please skip it. If someone is new to us, please give us 5 minutes to explain who we are. ENECHANGE is a company that promotes net zero. The famous Silicon Valley investor John Doerr wrote the book, The 6 Steps to Reach the Net Zero. And then ENECHANGE business has been addressing the first 2 points. First, decarbonize the grid. We're providing the energy switching service, helping consumer to choose the better energy tariff, most often greener energy tariff. Second, electrified transportations. ENECHANGE is going to be the leading EV charging infrastructure in Japan. Therefore, we believe our business are the one to helping to reach the net zero. ENECHANGE has 3 business segments. The first one, the platform business, is energy switching services for household and corporates. Japanese energy market was deregulated in 2016, and ENECHANGE was founded in 2015, 1 year before the energy market deregulation, to address these opportunities. Since then, ENECHANGE has been successfully operating energy switching website over the last 8 years and maintain the dominant position in energy switching. So the platform business has been the major driver for our sales growth. However, due to the recent energy market crisis, we need to change our strategy to secure profitability for this year. Our second business, we call the data business, is a cloud-based software solution for energy companies, helping energy companies to analyze data, optimizing energy consumption and energy efficiencies. This business has been a very solid, steady growth business and profitable business. This business the data business recently has more attention due to the tight energy demand and supply in Japan, and we are providing the leading demand response services in Japan. The last one is actually the most exciting one so far, the EV charging business. ENECHANGE is installing and managing EV charging infrastructure to a level 2 place or destination chargings, such as hotels, restaurants, shopping centers, hospitals, and government institutions or parking lots. The EV charging or EV business itself in Japan is relatively early stage compared to America and Europe, but it is coming right now. So we are investing aggressively to establish the top market share positions as soon as possible. We became a listed company at Tokyo Stock Exchange December 2020 after 5 years of incorporations. At the time, I promised to the investor we are committed to provide the 30% sales growth at least every year for next 7 years. The last year, we managed to achieve 76% sales growth. And this year, we also announced to achieve more than 30% initially. However, Russian invasion to Ukraine in March changed the landscape of energy market dramatically. Therefore, we need to change strategy to slow down our business this year. However, we still see a huge opportunity driven by the EV chargings next year and some of the market recovery of energy crisis. Therefore, we are confident to maintain our long-term commitment to invest. The second chapter, I will explain some of the numbers of each business. The first half of the year result was very strong with a 63% progress against 3.4 billion sales forecast. Compared to last year, which was 46% at this time, we have been outperforming significantly. However, I have already explained to you, we are expecting a tunnel coming ahead of us. So therefore, we maintain our sales forecast as of today. Our sales and recurring revenue has increased significantly YoY over 40%, which shows our business has been very strong even under the harsh business environment. Investor might pointed out our revenue has slightly decreased from the previous quarter. I will explain in the next slide. The left side is the business breakdown. We have a very strong YoY increase over 40%, which is a very surprising result to me in such a tough business environment. Investor might point it out, the recurring revenue of the platform business has been slightly decreased from the previous quarter, but this is because of the seasonality due to spring. So we should not really worry about that. We had the same situation last year as well. On the right side, the data business has showed a very strong progress YoY over 30%. Similarly, from the previous quarter, the sales has declined, but mostly due to non-recurring revenues. And this is because of seasonality again. Most of energy companies, their fiscal year ending the end of March. So that's why we usually have a higher demand in Q1 and less demand in Q2. We had the same situation last year as well. So in general, both platform and data business are very strong. Gross profit has grown around 40% YOY, and the profit margin still remains really high. Again, from the previous quarter, slight decrease alongside with the sales drop. Regarding operating profit, we had a slightly bigger loss this quarter, but this is because of the mass aggressive investment into the EV chargings. As you can see on the right side, we still maintain high profitability in adjusted operating profit level. And then you can see more investment into the EV chargings. Both platform and data business remained profitable. As we promised to the investor last quarter, we are going to secure the profitability of each business, and we are managing so far well. Let me explain the KPI of individual businesses. The platform business has actually achieved to hit the record high of both KPIs. This was very surprising result to me because the market environment is getting really tougher every day. Energy companies are not willing to accept the new customers, and some of them, even the major one, have withdrawn the business. And then also, every single energy company cut out of advertising budgets. Therefore, the number of the users ARPU maintained at a high level is a good achievement for ENECHANGE. However, I need to warn the investor, we are expecting even harder time in coming quarters, which means the platform business sales and KPIs will fall significantly in next quarter. Data business showed actually a good result as well. The number of customers reached a record high up to 53 energy companies, and ARPU are maintained at the same level. Energy companies are also cutting the budget for software development. So that's why we were worried that we might lose the customers. However, we are getting more attention from energy companies because energy companies start realizing ENECHANGE data business is very cost effective. We provide a cheaper solutions and a better solution than the competitors. The KPI of our EV charging business is number of cumulative ports sold. When we started this business, we promised to the investor we're gonna sell 3,000 charging ports by June next year. And we are overachieving it. So that's why today we're gonna more talk about our next strategy after achieving 3,000 charging ports, which is 30,000 charging ports. We recently announced our new strategy and new products, which enable us to reach 30,000 charging ports as soon as possible. I will explain more detail in the coming chapters. The final slide in the numbers of our expenses. We changed our strategy about the marketing due to the energy crisis in March this year. Therefore, you can see our advertising budget significantly reduced in Q2. Instead, we keep investing into the EV chargings, hiring more personnel. Therefore, our personal expenses has been grown due to EV chargings. Third chapter, we're going to explain more detailed progress of each business. Starting with the platform business. The left side is a country level share of new energy companies. On the right side is ENECHANGE share among the new energy companies. The corporate company share has been reducing the first time in the history of energy market deregulation in Japan. This is because energy companies are not acquiring new customers, and some of the major new energy company has withdrawn from the business. The household number have been still growing. However, we're expecting this number might decline soon. On the contrary, the energy share has been keep increasing and above 2% at the end of March. This is very good because our competitors and other energy switching company has also struggling, and some of them has withdrawn from the business as well. However, ENECHANGE is still committed to provide the better energy switching service for the customers. So that's why we have managed to gain the shares. We actually see this market crisis as the opportunity to gain more share in energy switching market. LTV CAC is the other major KPI for us to monitor, which is considered to be a healthy level above 3.0. In the second quarter, we achieved 3.7, which means ENECHANGE energy switching business has been very healthy and profitable. Every time we pick one hot news about the energy market situation in Japan for the investors. This time, platform business, we will talk about the energy crisis in Japan. The left side is a JPEX, which is a wholesale electricity market. As you can clearly see, the 2022, this year, is significantly higher than the previous years, maybe by 100% or more than 200 to 300%. Energy retail business is a thin margin business. Therefore, such a high energy price means energy companies are all losing money and struggling. Therefore, as you can see on the right side, the major energy company start raising the tariff right now. They are already announced to raise the tariff, and then most of them will actually change the tariff in April 2023. Also, the Prime Minister has officially announced they're gonna try to work on restarting nuclear power station. Some of them are set to restart by this winter, and more potentially come around the end of this year, like early next year. So energy market crisis in Japan are gradually improving as of today. In the previous quarter presentation, I illustrated 6 stages we're expecting to go through for the market recovery. We were stage 3 and 4 last quarter around May. And then we are around stage 4 to 5 in August. The reason why I'm saying we are in stage 4 and 5 is the energy company are start raising energy tariff to adapt the new energy, like the current energy crisis. It takes some time to change the energy tariff. So the major energy company will change the energy tariff in April next year. So it takes another half year to year to actually seeing the result of these changes in our sales numbers. But what we can see is the situation is gradually improving. But still, the main question is when we can reach the stage 6, which is the recovery of the energy market. We back to where we are before the energy market crisis. This is still yet to know. The global market, the global energy market is still very high. The Russian and Ukraine war is still continued. And then nuclear power stations are gradually restarting. but nothing major one is promised as of today. So there are still so many uncertainties about the full market recoveries. Hopefully, I can deliver better news next time. The final slide about the platform business is our expansion strategy using our sound capital base. Left side for the household, I have been stressing the importance of the partnership with the property management company, because when people moving home, that's a key opportunity for us to let them switch energy suppliers. We have directly built up the relationship and the partnership with many property agent company in Japan. However, this single alliance with Sumasapo can bring us over 600 property management company into our network exclusively. So this is a big jump for us to expand our energy switching business for households. Furthermore, to solidify this relationship with Sumasapo, we made an investment into this company as well. For the corporate side, we acquire a small energy switching company, which brings additionally 5% customer into our network. Next, the data business. The news about data business is a tight demand and supply of electricity in Japan. This July, all the government officials and the media talk about energy peak shaving due to the tight demand and supply. We actually expecting the winter time is even worse. Government announced to restart the nuclear power station before the winter, but still we expecting the energy is much tighter in this winter. So therefore government also announced they're going to subsidize the customers and energy company who joined the peak energy shaving programs. This create a huge buzz about the importance of the demand response services. The government is saying to energy company, over 300 energy companies, to start the demand response services before winter to address the tight energy supply. So that's why government is saying, please do not develop the demand response services by yourself, because it won't be ready in time. We need the demand response services by this winter. So therefore, please use the demand response existing services like ENECHANGE. Of course, ENECHANGE is not only one company who providing energy services. However, we believe we are in the strongest position. First, ENECHANGE is the only public company who is reliable and trustworthy. Second, ENECHANGE has the biggest track record with the Tokyo Gas and other major energy suppliers. Third, we have the smart device capability, managing capability, kind of remotely controlling fridge, ACs, and TVs. Therefore, we are trying to achieve 1 million demand response users, working with like dozens of energy companies as soon as possible to become the #1 demand response supplier in Japan. Finally, let's talk about the EV chargings. The big news in Japan is we hit another record high in EV sales. The Q2 has reached 3.3% of the new EV PHEV sales in Japan, which is a record high. When I started this business December last year, at the time, the percentage was 2.4%. And after that, 2.8, 3.3. Now we can see Japan will reach the 5% very soon. And also on the right side, the government provides the subsidies for the new purchase of EV and PHEVs. Now over 72 models are eligible for subsidies. Means the customer has a wider choice to choose their liking EV PHEVs, which makes this new penetration of EV PHEV unstoppable in Japan. ENECHANGE recently announced our new strategy to reach 30,000 charging stations by announcing our new product, Model 2 EV chargers. The Model 2 EV charger is very unique strengths to ENECHANGE in 3 points. The first point is a 6 kilowatt charger, which is very surprising to the international investors. The majority, it's actually over 99% of EV charging, level 2 EV charging in Japan is just a 3 kilowatt, painfully slow, which installed in like around 2013 to 2015, due to the government subsidies at a time. Since then, the EV charging infrastructure in Japan hasn't been upgraded. And then now the EV's battery's capacity became much bigger than like 5-8 years ago. So 3 kilowatt charger is not enough for the next 5 to 10 years EV charging infrastructure. Of course, the quicker is better. So why not like 9 kilowatt, 12 kilowatt, 15 kilowatt? However, due to some restriction of the electric wiring system in Japan, the 6 kilowatt is kind of technical limit to install the EV charging at the affordable cost. So therefore, I predict the level 2 charger, the 6 kilowatt will be the de facto standard in Japan. Again, less than 0.1% of the EV charging station in Japan, level 2, 6 kilowatt. And then everything, most majority of it is ENECHANGE's one. So we're gonna establish a dominant position in 6 kilowatt level 2 chargings. And also, this ENECHANGE Model 2 is only one government subsidies eligible model as of today. So we are very unique in this 6 kilowatt charging market, which gives us very unique strengths in this competition. ENECHANGE announced our new strategy to reach 30,000 ports by investing 30 billion JPY. By using this capital, the site host can install our charging station for free. The question is, how are we going to fund 30 billion JPY? ENECHANGE is not able to provide all the money by itself. However, we are eligible to use government subsidies, city level subsidies, and bank loan for green infrastructure. Therefore, we don't need to use a lot of money by ourselves there, and we don't need to raise another capital from the investors for this 30 billion investment. We actually receiving exceeding demand from the customers, potential customers. We have been developing our internal sales team, but which is not enough to distribute 30,000 poles as soon as possible. That's why we announced our partnership program to help us to sell our EV charging infrastructure across the countries. For example, like Mitsubishi Autoris, who are like companies selling EVs, EV fleets to the corporates. They want to sell the EV charger as well. We are going to announce many exciting partnership deals in coming months. Let me explain how the business model of our EV charging works, even if we install the EV charging station for free to the customer. The first, when we sell the EV charging station, technically we realize the sales revenue of EV hardware, EV charging hardware. And the second way is once the EV charger are installed, we will be paid the software subscription fee or EV charging commissions, which are considered to be the recurring revenues. Once we manage to sell the EV charging station to the site host, we get a 7 years exclusivities. So once we install one charger, we get a long time to get a recurring revenue, which is the juicy part of our business. Therefore, we are stressing the importance of moving as quick as possible to dominate the Japanese EV charging market by installing first charger at the major site. The last slide of EV charging is overseas market situation. The EV charging is a global trend, so that's why we need to keep eyes on the global situation, what's going on. Probably the biggest news in Q2 is Blink acquired SemaConnect at $200 million USD. Blink has a 3,000 level 2 charging station according to the US government database, and SemaConnect has larger number of 7,000 level 2 charging ports in America. So now Blink combined with SemaConnect having over 10,000 charging ports in America, which is ranked number 2, excluding Tesla, after ChargePoint, which has nearly 50,000 charging stations in America. Another point we realize is despite market turbulence in NASDAQ or equity market in general this year, the ChargePoint and other EV charging company still relatively maintain a high market cap and high attention from the investors. This means investors are still confident in long-term growth of EV charging business. So what we're learning from this, international battle in the field of EV charging is getting fierce. ENECHANGE needs to keep moving as quick as possible, as aggressive as possible in Japan to dominate the market. Otherwise, American or European player will come to Japan. The last chapter is quickly talk about the forecast of this year and some other corporate issues. As I have already explained, we will maintain our sales forecast as of today, despite the good progress of the first half. ENECHANGE has also announced 7 investments into the climate tech startup overseas. The reason why we do these investments is not because of just for the financial gain, but also acquiring knowledge and partnership in Japan's market. For example, the OhmConnect, the leading demand response company in America, we invested and also talk about the collaboration in Japan. Another example is Whitelisty, the leading EV wireless charging technology company. We invested and also talk for the collaboration for maybe 5 to 10 years long-term visions when EV charging will be shifting from wired charging to wireless charging, maybe due to self-driving taxis. ENECHANGE is a very unique company in Japan, having an overseas network and visions, long-term visions to dominate and innovate energy market in Japan. We have announced 2 major changes of the corporate structure. First, we set up a new company called the ENECHANGE EV Lab, which specializes in joint development and procurement of EV hardware and softwares. Again, to dominate the EV charging market, having own capability and strength in our hardware and software is very important. And ENECHANGE has been establishing a good level of strength and competitive advantage in Japanese market but we want to carry on investing into our hardware and software capabilities. Second, our demand response services has been gaining a lot of attention from energy companies in Japan, which has been providing from our UK subsidiary called Smart Energy. However, providing a service from a UK to a Japanese company is getting a little bit, it's not efficient. So that's why we decided to transfer the smart demand response services to ENECHANGE. Then we can provide more local support to Japanese energy companies. So what we're gonna do at Smart Energy, our UK subsidiary, after transferring demand response services to ENECHANGE, is Smart Energy, our UK entity, will remain to be our capital for our innovations. Talking to, resorting to, investing to the global climate tech companies, we developed a prototype as well for innovations. So that's why we will rename the company to ENECHANGE Innovation at some point. Thank you for watching my presentation. The key takeaway is we are heading into a tunnel, but exit is in sight. Again, due to the energy crisis, we are expecting a very hard, tough number in Q3, Q4. However, we also seeing our future growth driven by our EV charging business. I really hope the international investor who might be watching this presentation will understand our strategy and our bright futures. Thank you again for watching my presentation. And if you're interested in talking to me more directly, please approach to my IR team. We're happy to have a one-on-one call with you.